There are moments in life when the world grows quiet, not just outside, but within. You look around and feel as if the rhythm of existence has muted itself, as though some unseen force has pulled you gently into a corner of stillness. This solitude may feel like abandonment, like the universe has turned away from you, but the truth is far more sacred. The silence that now surrounds you was not sent as a punishment, but as a passage. The cosmos, in its boundless intelligence, withdraws the noise of the world so you can finally hear the whisper of your soul. Comment, I accept this sacred silence if you know this message was meant for you. We often mistake isolation for failure, for being off course, or undeserving of joy. But the universe never isolates without purpose. When it draws you away, it is to prepare you for something vast and hidden beneath the surface. This silence is not emptiness. It is a holy space where the deepest transformation begins. In the absence of distraction, your soul begins to speak truths you've buried. The silence strips away illusions. It leaves you face to face with yourself, unmasked and unguarded. Think of the seed buried in the darkness of the earth. It appears alone, forgotten beneath the soil. But in that stillness, something magnificent is forming. It stretches silently, preparing to rise. You are no different. When the universe quiets your world, it is because something powerful is being conceived inside you. A new beginning takes form, not from noise, not from chaos, but from silence, stillness, and surrender. You are being called inward, into the sacred soil of your own becoming. This withdrawal from the world is an invitation, not an exile. The questions you've been asking don't live in the external. They live in the depths of your own being. This is the moment to stop searching outward and start remembering inward. The clarity you need cannot be found in others. It does not come from approval, applause, or answers. It comes from embracing the stillness long enough to feel what has always been waiting to surface, your truth. Isolation, when seen through sacred eyes, is a chrysalis. It is the sacred cocoon in which you are stripped of all that is not truly yours. The roles you played, the fears you carried, the expectations that shaped you, one by one, they fall away, and what remains? Your essence, pure, real, undisturbed. But this process is not passive. It is a trial of faith. The universe asks you, can you trust me? Even when it feels like I've taken everything away? Can you believe in what is becoming, even when you cannot yet see it? In your solitude, you are not being punished. You are being refined. The loneliness you feel is not evidence of absence. It is a sacred echo of what's awakening inside you. If you resist it, you prolong the silence. But if you embrace it, if you walk through the stillness with open hands and a softened heart, you will find that it has been a blessing in disguise. The universe has hidden you, not to break you, but to ready you. And when the moment comes to return, you will not return the same. In the unseen workshop of the soul, solitude becomes alchemy. Just as the ancient alchemists believed in transforming lead into gold, the universe invites you into a deeper transmutation, the transformation of self through silence. You may feel abandoned, forgotten, left behind by time, but in truth, you are being held in a sacred space where all distractions are removed and only truth remains. The solitude you experience now is not the absence of life. It is the presence of something eternal that can only emerge when all else is still. This inner silence is a crucible. It will show you the fears you've hidden, the doubts you've ignored, and the wounds you thought you buried. You may tremble at first, because in the quiet, everything you've refused to feel rises like smoke from fire. But none of it appears to destroy you. It rises to be released. The silence isn't your enemy. It is your mirror. It reflects what must be healed, what must be forgiven, and what must be surrendered if you are to grow into the next version of yourself. Transformation is rarely gentle. It requires the falling away of the false, the painful disintegration of illusions. You may cry in this season. You may beg for noise to return, but resist the urge to numb the discomfort. Stay present in the silence, because something holy is happening. The self that has been hidden beneath layers of fear and expectation is beginning to breathe. The universe has silenced the world around you so your soul can finally speak without interruption. Do not rush this process. The seed cannot be forced to bloom. It must first split open in the dark. It must surrender its old shape to embrace something larger, and so must you. The discomfort you feel is not failure. It is the sound of old patterns breaking, of past identities crumbling, of former roles dissolving. You are not unraveling, you are unfolding, slowly, painfully, beautifully. If you try to distract yourself, to run from the stillness, you will only delay your arrival. Because what is being offered here is too sacred to be skipped. The universe is not interested in surface-level change. It seeks to change your core. It seeks to free you from the illusion that you must become something. In truth, you are being stripped of what you are not, so that you may return to what you always were. Pure presence, luminous being, unshakable light. This sacred withdrawal is not a detour. It is the path itself. And when you finally emerge from this inner chamber, you will carry the fragrance of the divine. You will not speak the same, move the same, or dream the same, because something ancient and eternal will have awakened within you, the memory of who you truly are and who you have always been. When the world fades into silence, a mirror rises before you, not a physical one, but the reflective stillness of your own consciousness. Here, in the untouched quiet, you are finally able to see yourself without distortion. The personas fall, the social masks slip, the noise that once distracted you from your own heartbeat dissolves, and what is revealed is raw, honest, and profoundly sacred, the unfiltered presence of your soul staring back at you. In this space, discomfort is inevitable. It is not easy to meet the parts of yourself you've hidden, doubts, regrets, shadows you hope to outrun. They surface now, not to punish, but to be acknowledged. The universe does not isolate you to wound you. It does so to create a clear chamber in which all of you can be seen. Every fear, every buried emotion, every unhealed memory is being called into the light, not to shame you, but to be held, forgiven, and transmuted. The soul's mirror does not lie. It reflects back what is true beneath all performance, and sometimes that truth is painful, but the pain itself is sacred. It is the fire that purifies. It is the gate that leads to freedom. When you allow yourself to witness your inner landscape without judgment, something miraculous happens. The things that once controlled you begin to loosen their grip. You see them for what they are, wounds longing for love, not chains meant to bind. Do not resist what arises. The feelings that emerge in solitude are not obstacles, they are invitations. Each ache is a portal. Each tear is a cleansing. Each silence is a message. Let the loneliness wash over you. Let it open you. Let it remind you that healing does not begin with noise, but with surrender. In the stillness, your soul is not breaking, it is blooming, quietly, invisibly, powerfully. This is the divine paradox. Only when you are stripped of all outer identity can you remember the boundless spirit that lives within. The universe is not trying to take something from you. It is trying to return you to yourself. The self that does not need approval. The self that exists beyond time, beyond expectation. The self that listens not to the world, but to the pulse of the cosmos within your chest. Solitude is sacred because it is where your power is reborn. Not the power to control or conquer, but the power to be, to live from essence, to move from truth, to speak from silence. In this holy mirror, the image that returns your gaze is not who you thought you were. It is who you were always meant to be, unmasked, unbroken, and profoundly whole. Within the silence, a subtle transformation begins, one that few can see, but all can feel. You are not simply sitting in solitude. You are dissolving old versions of yourself. In the absence of distraction, you begin to sense the quiet fire of renewal rising within. Like a caterpillar encased in its cocoon, your soul is rearranging itself, preparing for a life that matches the truth you've long buried beneath noise, roles, and routine. This rebirth is not loud. It doesn't announce itself with thunder or lightning. It arrives in stillness, in whispers, in sacred pauses. You may not notice it at first, the way your thoughts shift, the way your heart feels less burdened, the way your breath returns home. But slowly, the shift becomes undeniable. The silence you once feared becomes a sanctuary. The solitude you resisted becomes the womb of your transformation. Your old identity begins to loosen its hold. The labels you clung to, the ones others gave you, the ones you gave yourself, start to fade. You realize you are not your job, your status, your history, or your wounds. You are something more ancient, more eternal, more whole. And in this moment of rediscovery, A question rises from the quiet. What have I outgrown? The answer may startle you. It may liberate you, but it will always lead you closer to truth. Let go of what no longer fits. The universe has not led you into solitude to keep you small. It has brought you here to shed the skin of falsehood, to make room for the sacred. You are being asked to release, not because you've failed, but because you've expanded. The soul cannot grow where there is no space, and so all that is heavy, hollow, or inauthentic must now fall away. Gently, gratefully, permanently. This is the divine preparation. You are being cleared for purpose. The silence is not empty. It is full of instruction. The waiting is not wasted. It is rich with invisible work. Trust that. Trust the pauses, the delays, the detours. They are not blocks. They are guidance. The universe moves in rhythms beyond understanding, and right now, it is moving through you, clearing the debris of the old, planting the seeds of the new. When you rise from this silence, you will not be who you were. You will carry a stillness the world cannot touch, a clarity the noise cannot cloud, a power that comes not from force, but from alignment. This is your sacred becoming, and it begins here, in the silence, in the solitude, in the still space where the soul remembers its light. There is a sacred truth buried beneath years of conditioning. You are powerful beyond measure, not the kind of power the world glorifies, not domination, not performance, but the quiet, unshakable power of presence. And in solitude, this power begins to resurface. When all the voices around you fall silent, you can finally hear your own. When no one is watching, you remember who you are without needing to perform. This is where your true strength awakens from within. You may have spent much of your life searching for validation outside of yourself. Praise, approval, belonging, these were the currencies of your worth. But now, in this space of stillness, the universe invites you to let go of the need to be seen. Not because you are unworthy, but because you have nothing to prove. You are not here to perform, you are here to be. And that being is enough. More than enough. It is divine. Solitude reveals the compass within you, that quiet inner guide that doesn't shout, but knows, the voice of intuition, the pulse of your soul. And as the world fades, this voice grows louder, more certain. You realize you've always had access to guidance, but the noise drowned it out. Now, you begin to trust what you feel. You begin to walk in alignment, not out of fear, but out of knowing. This is the return to your own sacred authority. What emerges in this space is self-trust, not arrogance, not ego, but deep-rooted trust in the wisdom flowing through you. You understand that you don't need to chase the path of others. You are here to walk your own. You stop measuring your value against the expectations of society, and you begin to design your life based on the architecture of your soul. That shift, though silent, changes everything, because when you live from truth, the universe reshapes itself around you. This is also a time to release attachments to the old definitions of success, to step away from the shallow standards of productivity and achievement that once governed your worth. In solitude, you come face to face with the deeper question: what really matters? And the answer is always the same. It is not what you have, but who you are. It is not what you achieve, but how deeply you've remembered your essence, how aligned you've become with your higher calling. The universe did not isolate you to punish you. It has invited you inward to reclaim the voice, the purpose, and the fire that the world taught you to ignore. Now, with each breath, with each quiet moment, that fire begins to glow again. You remember that your power does not lie in how much you do, but in how clearly you live in harmony with your truth. And from that place, still, sovereign, and when the noise of the world falls silent, something extraordinary begins to rise within you: clarity. Not just mental clarity, but soul-level remembrance. You begin to see, not with your eyes, but with the inner vision that was always there beneath the clutter. In the stillness, what truly matters begins to glow. You are no longer chasing someone else's dream. You are remembering your reason for being. Purpose is not something you find outside of yourself. It is not awarded by society or measured by applause. It is the sacred fire placed within you before you were born. And yet, that fire grows dim in a world that demands constant noise, constant output, constant performance. That is why the universe removes you from the crowd. It clears the stage so you can hear the original script, the one written by your soul, not by culture. In solitude, You reconnect with what brings you to life, with the visions that stir in your belly, the longings that never truly faded. You begin to feel the pulse of your unique calling, not one handed to you, but one you remember. What makes you feel alive? What quiet desire returns again and again, asking to be followed? The silence makes these truths visible. It makes your purpose undeniable. But before you can walk fully into that purpose, you must release what no longer serves it. The roles, the fears, the obligations that keep you small, they must be laid down. And this, too, is the sacred work of solitude. You are shedding the layers that kept you bound to an identity you outgrew. You are not losing yourself. You are finding the self that existed before the world told you who to be. This season of separation is the universe's way of making room, like clearing a forest floor for new growth. Your soul is being prepared. Let the old fall away. Let the silence show you what you've been carrying, that was never yours. Only then can your true path open. Only then can the next chapter begin, not as a repetition of the past, but as a holy unveiling of your real journey. The stillness is not empty. It is sacred space. It is where your life realigns with your spirit, and when you emerge from it, you will not need to ask others for direction. You will feel the path beneath your feet. You will walk with quiet certainty, because you are no longer searching. You are living from the center of your own light. That is the gift the universe has been preparing you for all along. Every great transformation begins with a letting go. In the sacred quiet of your isolation, you are not being abandoned. You are being invited to shed. This is the spiritual fire, not of destruction, but of refinement. The old beliefs, the outdated stories, the inherited patterns, they rise to the surface now, not to haunt you, but to be released. You are being emptied, not because you are broken, but because you are about to be filled with something far more authentic. This shedding is not always gentle. Sometimes it comes as grief, sometimes as confusion, often as fatigue. But these are not signs of weakness. They are symptoms of a soul in metamorphosis. The person you once were is dissolving, and it's okay to mourn that version of you. Honor what brought you here. Bless what must go. Everything that is being stripped from you was once necessary, but it has now served its purpose. You may feel a strange emptiness in this season, a pause, a space where the old has gone but the new has not yet arrived. This in-between is holy. It is the womb of rebirth. It may feel disorienting, but it is exactly where the sacred work occurs. Don't rush to fill the space. Let it stretch. Let it breathe. In this space, your soul has the room to recalibrate, to restore its original frequency, and to begin radiating from truth instead of survival. This is also where your deepest fears may surface. The fear of not being enough, the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown. But these fears, too, are part of the purification. Do not resist them. Sit with them. Watch them. They lose power when they are met with presence. You will find, over time, that fear has no root in the soul. It is only the residue of past wounds, and the fire of your awareness burns it clean. The universe never asks you to release without preparing to replace. What you let go of now is making space for what is aligned with your becoming. Trust that what is leaving your life was never meant to stay, and what is meant for you cannot miss you. This is the sacred rhythm of evolution. Empty, refine, awaken, emerge. You are not losing yourself. You are revealing yourself. And as the old ashes fall, you begin to feel lighter, clearer, braver. You sense something stirring beneath the surface. A new voice, a deeper knowing, the echo of the soul you were born to become. You are standing at the edge of something vast and new, and the fire that once terrified you has become your light. You are no longer afraid of the silence, because it has shown you what is real, and what must never be forgotten again. There comes a moment in solitude when the silence stops feeling like emptiness and begins to feel like home. You stop resisting the stillness and start listening to it. And in that sacred listening, you discover something astonishing. You were never truly alone. The presence you feared missing has been within you all along. The warmth, the wisdom, the connection, it flows not from the world outside, but from the infinite universe resting quietly within your own soul. The greatest illusion the world teaches is that you are separate. Separate from others, separate from divinity, separate from purpose. But isolation reveals the deeper truth. You are the universe experiencing itself in a unique form. You are never apart. You are not disconnected. Even in the loneliest hours, something vast and luminous has been holding you. The stillness didn't disconnect you. It reconnected you to what's real. This realization changes everything. You no longer seek wholeness from another. You no longer grasp at circumstances to validate your worth. You begin to embody the truth that you are already enough, already whole, already loved. The external world may remain chaotic, but you carry within you a calm the storm cannot touch. This is the gift of sacred isolation. It returns you to your source, your center, your eternal self. You also begin to understand energy in a new way. You feel when something aligns and when something drains. The solitude has attuned you. It has cleared your field. What once seemed tolerable now feels too heavy. What once numbed you now feels unbearable. And this clarity is a compass. It does not come from judgment, it comes from discernment. You are now more selective, more intentional, more rooted in the frequency of truth. And from this place, you begin to choose differently. Not from fear, but from alignment. Not from scarcity, but from soul. You guard your energy. You speak your truth. You allow yourself to walk away from what no longer honors you. Not with anger, but with grace. Because now you know, your peace is sacred. Your silence is strength. Your alignment is your most valuable offering to the world. The isolation you once resisted has become the sanctuary that gave you back to yourself. You have been softened and strengthened all at once. And now, with a heart more open and a spirit more anchored, you are ready, not to return to who you were, but to step forward as who you truly are. The one who walks in stillness. The one who listens to the soul. The one who remembers. Emerging from sacred solitude is not a return, it is a revelation. You do not come back to the world as who you were. You carry with you the depth of everything you have seen and felt in the silence. You walk slower now, not out of hesitation, but because your steps are sacred. You speak softer, not from weakness, but from the awareness that true power requires no noise. This is the embodiment of your rebirth, the outer reflection of your inner transformation. You no longer need to prove your worth. That season has passed. You have seen the truth of your being, and it cannot be unseen. The masks have fallen, and the roles once worn like armor now feel unnecessary. The person who emerges from solitude no longer needs to chase connection, because you are connection. You move differently now because your compass is not external approval, but internal peace. The world may look the same, but it feels different to you. You sense the undercurrents of energy in every space. You feel the unsaid. You notice the truth behind appearances. Solitude has sharpened your vision. You no longer tolerate what dims your light, not from anger, but because you finally understand the cost of self-abandonment. The old you might have tolerated noise, but the new you protects silence, because you know that is where your soul speaks clearest. This emergence also marks a new kind of courage, the courage to live by your own rhythm. You stop running with the herd. You start listening for the subtle signals that guide you. You are no longer driven by urgency, but by alignment. Your days may be quieter, but they are full, not full of distraction, but of meaning. You have learned that real wealth is inner clarity, and real success is soulful integrity. You also recognize that the world may not understand your transformation, and that's okay. Some will still expect the version of you they once knew, but that version is gone. You don't need to convince anyone of your growth. You don't need validation for your evolution. Your presence will speak for itself. The ones meant for you will feel it. The rest will fall away. Like leaves in autumn, graceful, necessary, and natural. Now you move forward, not as someone seeking to find themselves, but as someone who has returned to their essence. You've remembered what matters. You've remembered who matters. And most of all, you've remembered that the only approval you've ever truly needed is your own. This is what the silence was preparing you for, not just to survive the noise, but to rise above it with sacred clarity and unwavering peace. You are not who you were. You carry within you the wisdom carved by silence, the peace born from surrender, and the strength shaped by the unseen hands of the universe. This is the moment when the journey inward becomes the foundation for the journey ahead. But now, your steps are no longer guided by fear or confusion. They are rooted in alignment. You do not need a map. You are the map. Your soul has become the compass, and life, at last begins to respond to the frequency of your truth. This is your return, but it is also your rise. You have walked through the fire of inner death and re-emerged unburned, radiant, whole. The old identities have fallen away. The illusions have melted. The stories that once defined you have dissolved into ash, and from that ash you rise, not as a version of yourself improved, but as your true self unveiled. There is no need to rush. There is only the sacred rhythm of your soul calling you forward. The world will meet you differently now, not because the world has changed, but because you have. You see with cleaner eyes. You listen with deeper ears. You feel the undercurrent of energy beneath every moment. The universe didn't isolate you to keep you away from life. It did so to awaken you to life's truest form, the divine flow, the subtle signs, the sacred timing. And now that you are aligned with that rhythm, you move with grace that others will feel but not always understand. Let go of the need to be understood. Let go of the desire to explain the depths you've touched. Not all journeys can be put into words, and yours was meant to be felt. The clarity you now carry is not meant to be argued. It is meant to be lived. Let your peace be your proof. Let your choices reflect your new frequency. You are no longer living to meet expectations. You are living to fulfill destiny. And that destiny will call you into new spaces, new relationships, and new expressions of who you are. Do not shrink. Do not doubt. The universe that hid you has now revealed you, and it is time to speak, time to lead, time to shine with a light that was hidden for far too long. The solitude prepared you for this. The silence shaped you for this. And now, what once felt like isolation reveals itself as divine initiation. You have remembered. And in that remembrance, you have returned, not to the world, but to yourself. The journey inward has become the fire of your awakening, the ground of your purpose, the mirror of your soul. What lies ahead is not without challenge, but it is sacred. You are no longer led by noise. You are moved by presence. You are no longer surviving the world. You are shaping it, just by being all of who you truly are. Now, as you stand on the edge of all that is new, you begin to understand this was never about isolation. It was about remembrance. The universe didn't remove you from the world. It removed the noise so you could remember the world within you. Every moment of silence, every wave of uncertainty, every sacred pause was the cosmos drawing you back into the infinite sanctuary of your being. You were never lost. You were being led home. The greatest secret whispered to you in the quiet was this: you are already whole. There was never anything missing. You were not waiting to be healed, but to see that the healing was already unfolding. The solitude revealed that you are not broken. You are becoming. The ache in your chest was not absence, it was awakening. The stillness was not a void, it was sacred space where the universe planted seeds of divine remembrance. And now, as you walk forward, you do so with a stillness inside you that cannot be shaken. You carry the presence of silence in your heart. You move from peace, not panic. You act from clarity, not chaos. You love from wholeness, not need. This is what it means to live aligned with your soul, with your purpose, with the cosmic rhythm that has always been guiding you from within. You are no longer looking for signs. You are the sign. The solitude that once felt like exile is now your sanctuary. You return to it not from fear, but from reverence, because you now know within the stillness lives your wisdom. Within the quiet lies your direction. Within your breath lives the entire divine intelligence of creation. The mirror has been cleaned. The dust has settled. And what you see reflected back is not just a person. It is a soul in full bloom. Do not forget this place. Do not forget the silence that taught you, the shadows that revealed you, the inner voice that saved you. Life will grow louder again. The world will demand your attention. But now you have an inner compass, a space within that no noise can touch. Return to it often. Tend to it daily. It is not a place you visit. So go now, not to begin again, but to continue as the one who remembers. Remember who you are beneath every title, beyond every role. Remember the silence that made you, the fire that refined you, the love that called you back to yourself. You are no longer becoming. You have become. And the world has been waiting for exactly who you are now.